He's going to be remote if he's online. Good evening and welcome to tonight's Monroe City Council meeting. This is a regular business meeting for Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025. The time right now is 7 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and ask that our clerk this evening read the roll. I think I meant to say call the roll.
Council members present and establishing quorum: Fulcher, Beaumont, Hanford, Walker, Gamble, Scarborough, and Fisher's remote.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and ask that Councilmember Beaumont please lead us in the pledge. I pledge my allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item that I have on the agenda is public comments. Has anybody signed up to speak this evening? Okay. Is there anybody here that would like to provide public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda. That's a proclamation for Purple Heart Day. And I'm not going to read the entire proclamation. You all have heard it in the past. But I will just go ahead and read the back part of the proclamation. So whereas on December 7th, 2021, Monroe's mayor and city council jointly issued a proclamation declaring the city of Monroe as a Purple Heart city. And since 2014, August 7th has been a day to honor and remember people wounded and who have lost their lives in action and in service to our country. And whereas the flying of the Purple Heart flag on the city of Monroe's municipal campus symbolizes remembering and honoring Purple Heart recipients, now therefore I, Jeffrey Thomas, Mayor of the City of Monroe, Washington, do hereby recognize and proclaim August 7, 2025 as Purple Heart Day and authorize and direct the flying of the Purple Heart flag at the City of Monroe's municipal campus from August 1, 2025 to August 8, 2025. And encourage, we good? Okay. And encourage residents, employers, and visitors to commit ourselves and our community to remembering and honoring recipients of the Purple Heart Award in our words, hearts, and actions. I'm going to go ahead and invite the members of the VFW 7511 to come on up, and also the council members to join me in front so that I can present this proclamation to them. Thank you.
Well, you know what, I'm gonna have our Purple Heart member. Oh, okay. There you go, council member. Sure. Thank you so much. Now we get business. Now we get to pull hands in an awkward moment. That's right. Age before. We're gonna look back. Me, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Commander, I have an extra one if you'd like it.
Oh, I appreciate that.
You never know.
Thank you so much. We do actually put these up on the wall. So.
Excellent. You're welcome. All right, next item on the agenda then is confirmation of Parks and Recreation Director appointment. So this will be Ben Worthen who will be providing this presentation. Ben, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight before you, as the Mayor stated, is a confirmation for Kevin Teague as the Parks Director. Kevin is currently the Deputy Director for Parks, Recreation, and Facilities for the City of Sammamish. He's been there since 2020. In addition to that, he brings over 25 years of parks experience. Jake has asked me to mention that Kevin holds a bachelor's from WSU. I apologize, Councilmember Gamble, but he did ask me to include that. He's also a licensed landscape architect and a certified arborist. Kevin will begin with the city on September 2nd, 2025. Back to you, Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be presenting my appointment of Kevin Teague. I knew him back when I worked for Snohomish County, coincidentally. He and I both crossed paths there, and then he is currently at the city of Sammamish as their Deputy Parks Director. I really appreciate the experience he has, and he and his family have also lived here coincidentally for about 30 years or so. I think that we've got a great candidate to help set us up for the future, and I respectfully request your confirmation of my appointment. Councilmember Walker.
I've heard nothing but great things about Mr. Teague, and so I'd like to move to confirm the mayor's appointment of Kevin Teague as the Parks and Recreation Director, appointment effective September 2nd, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Walker, a second from Councilmember Gamble to confirm the mayor's appointment. Councilmember Hanford had his flag up, and then Councilmember Gamble. Councilmember Hanford.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I've known the Teagues for years. Kids have grown up together years ago, and very well-respected family in this community, so fully support the vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Gamble.
Ditto on that, and I will say it's always been University of Oregon. I have nothing wrong with the Cougs, so it's all good.
So it's all ducky. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else before I try to quack everybody up? Okay. Once they say yes, you can't leave, and I've still got 5 months of bad jokes. Oh, nice. No, Siri, thank you. All right, seeing no further discussion, I'll go ahead and call for the question. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, everybody, and congratulations, Director Teague. All right, next item on the agenda is consent agenda. This is consent agenda labeled as 6. I turn to the council. Councilmember Walker.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda from Councilmember Walker, a second from Councilmember Beaumont. Any discussion on the motion to approve the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you very much, everybody. All right, we now have a need for an executive session under 7.1 on your agendas. This is potential litigation pursuant to RCW 42.30.110, subsection 1, subsection I. Time right now is 7:07 p.m. We'll go for an initial 10 minutes, and then as needed, I will go ahead and announce extensions if necessary. Those will be announced here in this room. There will be action to follow the executive session, and we are now in executive session for initial 10 minutes. Thank you.
Executive session has been extended 10 minutes. Executive session has been extended 5 minutes. Executive session has been extended 2 minutes. Executive session has been extended 5 minutes. Executive session has been extended 2 minutes.
Okay, we're back out of executive session, and we're going to go ahead and move on to potential, I'm sorry, let me flip the page. We're now going to go on to item number 8, new business, 8.1, Republic Services Comprehensive Solid Waste Collections Contract Status Review with Mr. Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Just a quick summary of the report that's in your packet. The city signed its most recent agreement with Republic Services in 2017. That agreement has since been renewed. It is on a rolling 3-year calendar cycle for renewal. The council has looked at it annually each year since at least 2020, maybe some records back before that. And it was most recently renewed at the end of 2024, and it would be the reoccurring renewal would be in January of 2025 if that were the case. Recently, there was a community drop-off event that was held in response to the missed pickups the week of July 7th and July 14th. It sounds like there are also some reports of missed pickups prior to that. In response to the service disruption, city staff met with Republic representatives regularly to understand what the status of the ongoing strike was. During this period, Republic worked to pick up key accounts within the city, wastewater treatment plant, hospitals, and some various multifamily buildings. Republic had initiated community drop-off events in other locations in Western Washington, however, indicated to the city that they didn't have resources to do key accounts as well as a community drop-off. And so with that, the city team elected to host an event that was 100% fully funded by Republic Services. That concludes the report. Mayor, I give it back to you.
All right, thank you very much. Council members, any questions or thoughts? Councilmember Scarborough, go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to put a timeline together on when I got notified of what.
Okay, thanks.
We'll go backwards. I got notified that services would continue or resume tomorrow. I got notified probably a week ago that they would not be picking up, but I think that's the last communication I got. I didn't get a communication for the first week. Nobody showed up to pick garbage. I don't remember getting a notification for the second, but I got notification about city pickup, and I got notification about the resumption of service. And my concern is not a monetary, give me some money back because you didn't pick up my garbage. Because that's about 20 bucks a week or something. It's not even that, I don't think, for the bill. It's the inconvenience. It was the inconvenience I saw of my neighbors of having to put their garbage in their truck, come down Saturday morning, try and get rid of it. And I would have imagined, had I known before Saturday morning that they were going to pick up the following Wednesday, I would have made it through it. I would not have stuffed my garbage in my truck and that's not. And brought my stuff down. I just weathered the storm, stomped down the garbage in the can and lived till next Wednesday. But it was the insecurity of wondering if next Wednesday would be the same thing. And I imagine that was the thought in many people's heads that got in line. I will remind people, and I've told them up here, I was the first guy in line at that pickup Saturday morning, and I was there about 9:15, 9:30 to just read a book and wait, which is fine. I got plenty of time. But when I pulled out of there and I got out on Main Street and I looked left and cars were lined up all the way down to the middle school. And I looked right and cars were lined up all the way to Kelsey and then turned left and down Kelsey towards the railroad track. But worse than that is I went back down through town about 1:15, and since I was going towards the old Coast to Coast on Main Street, I wasn't blocked out of getting anywhere, and the line was still down Kelsey Street almost to the railroad tracks. It was further down Main Street all the way down to the old Coast to Coast. People getting off the freeway are going, where do I go? Where do I turn around? What do I do? What's going on? Why this? So it is the inconvenience of not knowing that is more annoying than having to pay the bill.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Hanford.
Thank you, Mayor. I had a conflict on Saturday, so I wasn't able to, and I wasn't able to attend the event, but the first week that we missed garbage pickup, I'm pretty sure I didn't get a call till mid-morning of the day that it was supposed to have already been picked up, that they weren't gonna be picking up. And so that was frustrating. And I've heard from so many friends and neighbors, it's like, it's, it makes it sounds so trivial, just keep it one more week and then we'll pick it up next week. And it's like, I don't have extra garbage cans just laying around, like, to put my garbage in. So we just have been keeping it in the garage because I've seen on my walks around town, I've seen people who've put it out on the street thinking, well, they'll probably be here soon. They said they'll come next week, so we'll just put it out on the street. And then the crows and the rodents get to it. And our town looks like a dump because there's garbage everywhere. And certain streets are like, wow, what is going on? It's bad. And so now my garage just reeks because I have almost 3 weeks worth of garbage. And it's like, it's extremely frustrating, not just the convenience part of it, but it's frustrating for me because we tell our citizens, we require our citizens to pick garbage because we want to keep Monroe clean and we don't want issues like this. And yet, what happened, and we are requiring them to pay for garbage service that they're not getting. And so it's great that they'll be here next week, so 3 weeks worth of garbage piled up. But in the meantime, all of us citizens have been paying for garbage service that we're not getting. And so, like Councilmember Scarborough said, I mean, a $20 credit, whatever it is, whatever the cost is, that's like, that should just be automatic. But in my mind, there should be some kind of retribution, more than just what you paid for that you didn't get. There should be some kind of a discount or some kind of credit to our citizens for the hassle and the inconvenience that all of this provided. It's extremely frustrating, and that's all I have for now.
Thank you, Councilmember Hanford. Councilmember Fisher.
Hi there. All right, so a couple of things. I completely agree with the other council members. The bottom line is our residents, as Councilmember Hanford just mentioned, is we pay for a service and we didn't get a service. So bottom line is, I think that there is some discounts or forgiveness of some bills that have to come with the resolution of this whole thing to our residents. And as Hanford said, we do require that people have garbage service in the city so it doesn't look like a dump. Obviously, I don't want our city to look like a dump, and it's required. It makes us look bad when the service provider that we are contracting to doesn't provide those services. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. The other side of this is it's actually a lot cheaper for people to bring their own garbage. So my dump truck has never been so popular. So when this started happening, I parked my dump truck in front of the house, told our neighbors that just drive by, throw your trash in there, leave $5 in my mailbox to cover the trash fees. So the cheaper side is if we were to do it ourselves, I hauled 2,000 pounds worth of garbage to the transfer station in Everett because it's the only place that allows you to use a hydraulic dump. It was $108. That is much cheaper than going through a contract, a contracted service. So just to kind of keep that in mind, they are charging us a premium. And then when we don't get that service, I have no problems being charged a premium, but my service should also be premium along with that. So I think that's something that's important to cover and make note. The other question I had was, how many people were served on Saturday? Like, how many people came down? There had to be somebody, whether it was Republic or us, counting how many people actually came down to that event.
Just a second,
Do we know?
Councilmember.
Just a second, Councilmember. So, Jacob, how many people came to the event on,
Just shy of 400 city staff were counting.
so just shy of 400?
So obviously it didn't go well, and that was less than 400 people. So we have a city of 20,000, and the system that was set up there couldn't address less than 400 people. My system went really, really well. I think I serviced probably 40 people, and nobody was waiting. They were throwing in my dump truck. That was the other thing that was a little bit frustrating with Republic, is they weren't allowing any dump beds or dump trucks. I could have easily taken 40 cars out of that line with just one load. So next time when we start to look at this, I think there should be a location where you can use a dump bed. And then we can kind of work through this problem a little bit better. But to have that kind of a backup and have it take 3 hours or so for less than 400 people is ridiculous. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Walker.
I think when the city enters into an agreement like this, it's supposed to be a partnership, and this whole process felt anything like but a partner. I think in so many different ways, it was shocking the way that it almost seemed like there was like Republic had no expectation that labor disputes were going to happen. I think there were so many situations that you would think were givens that Republic would have covered, starting with just communication to our residents. I personally didn't receive any notification when the strike was starting or of the disruption. A family member that I do know that got a notice that there was inclement weather, so their trash wouldn't be getting picked up. I thought commercial and multifamily residences were supposed to be priority, but all of the businesses that I talked to said they weren't being served. I don't know if Monroe was just low on the totem pole or what, but this frankly was embarrassing. I felt like I wasn't doing a good job as an elected, being that I thought that this was the right contract for us. I was at the trash pickup, and I saw parents sitting in line for 2 hours with their kids watching Lion King in the back seat when they had stinky, broken down garbage bags in the back because that was their only option. And as a reminder, the city put that on, and all that we were given by Republic was two bins and a reimbursement for it. So throughout that whole process, you had seniors, you had disabled people in Monroe, you had people who didn't have pickup trucks or any help, who were paying up to $10 a garbage bag. I think I saw on Facebook, someone would come get your trash for $10 a bag. Our residents were paying that to get maggot-infested garbage bags out of their yard. And on top of all that, Republic did a poor job communicating with us as electeds or city administration. I cannot believe it. I think that trash companies this labor disputes are a given at some point. They're inevitable. So I was just shocked at the way this was handled. I think that being that so many people were paying $10 a bag, at minimum, a credit to our residents for that month of service that was not, should be a minimum. You have residents calling who are getting credits. It's on Facebook, hey, just call and they'll give you a credit. In other words, it's almost an admission that, yeah, we did the wrong thing, but we're gonna make you sit on hold in order to get it. It's embarrassing. I would say it's like I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I'm really disappointed and sad by the whole thing for our residents. So I think a credit to our residents for at least a month is the very minimum for a sign of goodwill towards the city, that maybe there could be some reconciliation here, but I'm disappointed. That was crazy.
Thank you. Councilmember Beaumont.
So I'm glad that Councilmember Walker brought up the hideous word maggots, because I talked to a lot of people that did have maggots in their garbage. There are people with adult diapers in their garbage. There are people that had plans on Saturday to go out and paddleboard or have family picnics or whatever, and were in such dire straits with trying to get rid of their garbage that they got to sit on Main Street for almost 4 hours with road rage and all sorts of things. There's a lot of information floating around, but the bottom line is, beautiful day when people should have been enjoying themselves and doing anything but sitting in line. We did the best that we could. Obviously, there were some problems, but the word that just keeps coming to mind when I think about this situation is unacceptable. It's unacceptable that Republic Services put the city in this untenable situation where we were helpless. We basically had no information to pass along to our residents about what was happening. Our job, number one job, is to provide reliable service in the city. That's what we are up here to do. That's one of our main goals. And that was taken away from us by Republic Services. So the black eye that we now have because of what we tried to do to fix what they did is substantial. It's massive. And the public trusts us to take care of them. The public trusts us to take care of these essential services. Absolutely could not do that. We tried, but we could not do that. So damaging the public's trust in us, in the city, we're going to have to work really hard to restore that. A lot of people are very angry, and understandably so. We need Republic to make this right through an apology and a refund to our residents. And some of us learned of the latest developments on social media. Again, unacceptable. Damage has been done. Republic Services, step up, communicate clearly, and notify us what those steps might be.
Thank you. Councilmember Fulcher.
Thank you. Yeah, the frustration level, to say the least, was very high. Living on Main Street, one of my neighbors said, "You got to come down and see this." Just the show of people having to deal with this, and the level of people trying to get into traffic. And anyway, I decided to not go down there and see that because I wasn't sure that would be a entertainment for me. But the communication from Republic, unacceptable. You're absolutely right. It was not good. It was not information. I don't think that getting your information from social media is ever a sign of good information. And when that was our only information, that was pretty sad. I did not have service the previous week to all of this. I know I'm not the only one up here saying that. Fortunately, yes, my good neighbor, Councilmember Fisher, does have that wonderful dump truck, Pigpen, which was in high popularity for a couple weeks. And so without that, I would have had a serious issue. So that was one of my favorite parts of all this, was watching our neighborhood come together. But, we pay for a service. I expect a service. Government is a contract with the people. We have level of service expectations. Our contract with Republic, we have the same. We have level of service expectations. We should get them. I definitely am in support of pursuing a credit for an entire month. It takes a while to recover from this, and I am sorry to all the people who had to put up with that, but I am very proud of our city for stepping up and having the collection site at City Hall. I know it didn't go off swimmingly, but we tried, and I am very proud of us for that.
Thank you. Councilmember Gamble.
So, some of us got missed before this started. I think that's important to call out. I live in the farm. There were several posts about other individuals within the farms and cul-de-sacs that were not. We didn't know at the time that we were going to roll into a strike. I'm not convinced that that wasn't part of a wildcat strike to begin with. I don't know, because it just seems too coincidental. So we never had that many missed before. And I know some called in and it was, well, no problem, we'll get you next week. So, that, just to describe my personal situation, that the second week for most was the third week. And I couldn't make the event on Saturday because my daughter was getting married on Saturday. And so I also found myself in a situation where I couldn't go another week because there was a lot of garbage prepping for the wedding. And then I also knew after hauling everything up there and then back, I was gonna have a lot of garbage from, after. And so having to pack that all up, I'm fortunate enough to have a trailer in order to put it in and take it to the deal. And I ended up in the same, going through the same thought processes that Councilmember Fisher did, which was, wait a second, I bring it out here, it's only $20. Wait a second, I can do 6 cans? We're requiring citizens, and I understand why we do that, because you want to look that you make the city, but I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I already had it stressed to the nines. I mean, it turned out great. The wedding was awesome, but you know how it is when you're leading into those things. And so that was just one added thing that was not part of the plan, but was able to fit that in. And so, but it did make me think, what are we doing here? Because we do pay for the convenience, we want it, and I think Councilmember Hanford said it too, is like, that's exactly why we do that, so we don't end up with what we had, which was 3 weeks of garbage and maggots and, the streets filled and all that kind of stuff. It's unacceptable is the word that was used, and it's completely correct. The communication was horrific, terrible. We talk about the Facebook post about, hey, you call in and get a credit. There's just as many that called in and posted on Facebook saying that they wouldn't get a credit and that they were gonna do something. So that just shows the inconsistencies with the call center strategy across the board and how they treated it. It's not our first time we've had an issue with Republic Services and their call centers. And from a service perspective, in the past, if I'm not mistaken. In the past, it has been that they didn't have people picking up the phone. And we've had to address those issues. So when I add up all of this stuff of the communication, I did feel like we were a little bit of a second class, city or citizen. The strategic account, we will take care of strategic and high priority accounts. Who decides that? When this was outside of the city limits, but there was others impacted by this. I stopped by a local dairy to get my cream and milk from the dairy and saw that their stuff was heaping over in their deal. And they said, yeah, I guess we're not considered commercial or high priority. That infuriated me. So with that, from my perspective, I'm beyond the, hey, we want a credit or all this type of stuff, or hey, we've had issues for a while. We've gone through, we've contracts with them before, and we're personally, kind of guaranteed that they would have a good plan if this were ever to occur. Sorry if this is a lousy plan. I want to open up the RFP again. I want to see what other options we have out there. I want to have an open discussion when we come back from break, about what other options are for our residents. If we're going to pay for a premium service, I want a premium service. That was not it. And then let's take a look at it. Hey, $20 for 6 cans? I can schedule that in. I'm paying 80 something right now. So, because I pay for 2. I'm open to it. So that's the discussion I would like to have. Thanks.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Hanford, you had your hand up at one point.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I neglected to talk about the event on Saturday. So like I said, I was not there. From what I've seen on social media, I just want to thank the staff, the city staff, and for all the time and energy and effort that went into doing that. When we're faced with adversity like we were, you have the option of just, one more week, we'll just do one more week. Or you can actually do something, and we did something, we tried something. So I'd rather fail trying than not try at all, right? I think a famous president talked about that. So,
Somebody did.
yes. So I'm very thankful and proud of our staff, and whatever's on social media, you need to hear from us that we're thankful for you, we're proud of you for doing what you did and for giving it your best shot. And I'm glad that we did that. Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead, Jacob.
Thank you, council members. The staff that were present at that event were from the Public Works Department as well as the Monroe Police Department. I think the staff that were there endured a lot. They didn't see people's best that day, and the fact that you are saying this now on the record is going to go out in an email to my department tomorrow. I'm proud of the fact that they stood there and did their jobs and acted like professionals, and that the police collaborated with Public Works and acted like professionals and took a little bit of the angst of folks in order to get something done. So thank you. That means a lot to the people that worked the event. It was probably one of the more difficult things I think many of them will have to do in their career in Public Works. So thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. So for me, this was really frustrating too. A couple of you have made the point that, here's week one. Okay. We get week one with inclement weather. There will be a week two. And then to find yourself coming near the end of that week and then seeing that other jurisdictions like Sammamish allegedly having 2 or 3 last week, with like 3 or 4 hours for each event. And for some reason, we've had to ask for, and we're only able to get the time that we did on that Saturday, was really frustrating. For me, I think that it's important that we acknowledge that inclement weather is one thing, that's impassable roads, right? Or maybe there are passable roads and they're just in one part of the city. The weather reporter will tell you that things will get better in the next week or something. But here there wasn't impassable roads. There needed to be a better way that Republic had things set up ahead of time for this sort of event where, yes, we promise, we contractually agree to provide you with bins if we miss a week, and that there be a plan already ahead of time as to where those bins are going to be, and that there already be a plan ahead of time that there will be compensation back to the city if there's any participation from the city. And to me, that's one of the things that was missing in all of this is maybe Sammamish, if Sammamish truly did have that process in place, already had the process in place. We didn't. And I don't know if that's an issue of contract. I don't know if that's Republic reaching out to them earlier. I don't know if that's something Sammamish did differently. But at the end of the day, it makes me feel like I felt when I first started as mayor with Republic, a time where I felt like we were a second-class city. They put Snohomish ahead of us one year when it was either a strike or an inclement weather situation, and rather than coming and picking up our garbage, they went ahead and went to Snohomish that next day. And that I found extremely frustrating, is the words that I'll use here in the public forum. So I really appreciate the work that our staff did. We had 5 people out there working with 400 people just from Public Works. And I know that there were complaints on social media about law enforcement not necessarily showing up when people called 911. Well, our law enforcement was out handling calls also. It's one of those things that we would not have anticipated that, the need and everything. And at the same time, we weren't able to serve everybody. There were people out of town, It's just the whole thing. It was a woefully inadequate response. For me, when I learned about how things were going on Saturday and then learned about things and talked with a couple of the council members that evening, I started contingency planning for this week. So for me, my Saturday night became talking with Jacob then on Sunday and Deborah and trying to figure out what we're going to do this week. And while I was still in the midst of putting together a list of my questions and how we were going to do a better job this coming week of picking up garbage and everything, I find out that on social media it had been posted that the strike was resolved, and I had still been working for an hour on trying to figure out how to contingency plan for this week with Jacob and Deborah on a weekend. So for me, it extremely frustrating to not get that proactive phone call just saying, hey, the strike's resolved. Pickup will be on Monday. Instead, I learn about it on social media while I'm contingency planning and angry, we'll go with that word here, about how things went. So I agree with a lot of the statements that were set up here from the council. I think it's important that we share our concerns with Republic. that we ask some questions about how this, about how we can make certain that if this ever happens again, there are contingencies. And I agree with what Councilmember Gamble said. This contract was entered into in circa 2010-ish, give or take. It may be time for the council and the community to start looking at alternatives. And so those are some thoughts. I would like to know what council's direction is this evening. I see a hand up with Councilmember Fisher. Councilmember Walker just put his hand up. Councilmember Scarborough has his hand up. So I saw Fisher, Scarborough, and then Walker. Okay, so Fisher, you're first, and then Scarborough, and then Walker.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I don't like reiterating things, but Councilmember Gamble said, what, $20 for 6 cans? I just wanted to reiterate, I did 2,000 pounds worth of garbage for $108. So just to leave that out there a little bit. We also talked about compensation for residents. I think we need to talk about compensation to the city itself for having its workers out there on Saturday. So I think that's something that we need to discuss. And then, Mayor, I would like to make just a request to have staff look into having Republic tell us what they did in compliance with our contract, showing us how they were not out of compliance with the contract that we had. We know that there was a lot of different things and we discussed a lot of things, but I think to have that maybe written out would be good so we can kind of go through this with some facts and kind of figure some things out.
Okay, sounds good. We can do that.
I'd support that.
Okay, and Councilmember Hanford would support that as well. And the rest of the council shaking their heads, yes, they're interested. So if I'm understanding, putting together a letter or something like that, explaining, expressing concerns and seeking additional information, we can get that out in the next couple of weeks here and hopefully have a response before the council meets again in early September. Does that sound good to the council? All right.
Thank you.
Yep. So I had Councilmember Fisher, then Councilmember Scarborough.
I wanted to make sure that everybody understood that not only do we appreciate the guys that stood out there and took trash, we appreciate Jacob and Deborah and the mayor for coordinating something that we could use with Republic, i.e. the Dipsy dumpsters and some sort of reimbursement for the people running that Saturday. That it wasn't just the guys running the tractors, it was the guys creating the workers that run the tractors too. Thanks. I want you to have some credit for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Walker?
Also wanted to reiterate thank you to, I spoke with Megan Darrow and Trevor Orr at the event, and they were just the epitome of class. I wish I had a camera on me or something, because they both had smiles on their faces as they were reassuring residents about the process. You had people pulling into the loop at the municipal campus to dump off trash, very angry. It was a team process that Megan and Trevor had to explain things to the residents, and by the time they were coming out to exit, most of the residents were happy again. They were understanding. It was just a master class in customer service. And then the other public works employees that were at the back end with the loader and the bins, they were coming around the loader, jumping out, running over to people's cars and unloading their cars with them and for them. And it was just like, it was incredible. I'm just so impressed. And again, those are our staff, to be clear. So thank you to them. And then I just wanted to say I would second the idea of opening up the RFP process again.
Okay. Thank you. Councilmember Gamble. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Hanford, and then Councilmember Gamble.
Yeah, I'm just so frustrated by the whole thing. I keep forgetting to add my comments that I was supporting Councilmember Gamble's for the RFP process as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Gamble?
Thank you, and I support Councilmember Fisher's request as well. I think also in regards to that, I feel like they need to come here. I mean, I felt like we were a second-class city through this whole thing, and for me personally, I want to do the RFP process, but also they should be in front of council and explain. It's not just that's all well and good. You can type up a response to your letter, but that's just me personally.
Thank you. And for the record, I know that there is a representative online watching right now. So if the council would like, I can certainly acknowledge that party if you're interested in hearing. Otherwise, we can always have them come back in September. Their council's rules of procedure. Yes, you do.
I still have the floor. I think it would be in the best interest of the relationship if it was to continue, that happens later.
Okay.
That's just me personally.
Does anybody object to, okay, we usually take people in person in the chambers.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Hanford, Gamble, you still have the floor. Did somebody, you had your hand up. Thank you. Fulcher.
I believe that now is not the time for a call-in on that. I think we do need it in person. Monroe has played second class to a previous time. I do remember that, I believe it was a winter event, and I do remember a phone call on your part in order to make that wheel start turning again to get us to get some trash pickup then. So Saturday's event, I wasn't there. Did Republic send anyone?
Jacob?
I'm not aware that there was a Republic representative at the event.
Right. That's a statement right there.
Yeah, so that's one of the other things is that, and Councilmember, you still have the floor, so I can come back to you. But one of the things, and I've said thank you to the staff. Please share how much I appreciate it as well. The frustrating thing here is that it's not just what our residents went through. It's not just what we're going through, but we also had 5 staff members, and then we had law enforcement that were dealing with the repercussions of Republic's failure. And an apology to the community, but also an apology to the city. I mean, you had Megan, you had other folks out there that were taking the brunt of the failure. To say that's not okay is woefully inadequate, but it's what I'm going to say here rather than say other words that I tend to say sometimes. So, yes, thank you for asking the question. Councilmember, you still have the floor.
Yeah, I just, as a person who works customer service of sorts, I'm used to, you prepare yourself for dealing with the irate public and having to calm people down because there's a lot of emotions involved when you feel slighted and you feel forgotten, which is how our people felt. But, you guys are used to turning cranks and fixing things. And so for you to have to switch roles like that, that was a big deal and much appreciated. And I am also in support of looking for a new service provider.
Okay.
Thank you.
So the letter I've done by consensus to start the process of discussing the RFP process, I'd like to have a motion from the council. So I think my request would be a motion that would be to the effect of, I move to provide direction to mayor and staff to begin the process of looking for of doing an RFP for another garbage service provider, including an informational session in September. Go ahead, Councilmember.
So moved, just as stated by the mayor.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Gamble, and I have a unanimous second from multiple council members. I'll pick on Councilmember Scarborough because he's closest, so sound travels faster. Any discussion on the motion? Saying none, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, anything else on this? Okay, Jacob, anything further?
No.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda, and thank you, everybody. That'll be new business item number 8.2, criteria for reviewing lodging tax funding applications. Liam.
It's a good one to follow up on.
Council. In May, Council adopted Ordinance 007-2025.
Microphone. We didn't change your name to Mike.
Let's try that again.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. In May, the City Council adopted Ordinance 007-2025 that authorized the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee to, from time to time, promulgate rules governing the committee's consideration of lodging tax proposals, including the establishment of criteria. LTAC met on July 10th, so earlier this month, to discuss goals for lodging tax awards and also finalize a recommended set of criteria. The criteria and methodology behind the formation of that criteria is contained within your packets. With that said, the recommended criteria before you tonight includes considerations for looking at an organization's capacity, innovation, marketing, collaboration, and economic impact, both towards visitors and overnight stays when evaluating lodging tax awards for tourism purposes. And then also includes bonus points that would be awarded for things like performing events or programming in the off-season or providing free attendance and resources. This criteria is meant as a guide for the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee when they are reviewing applications to promote tourism services in the city of Monroe using lodging taxes. The final award amounts are still subject to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee's discretion and then ultimately City Council. The request tonight is for formal approval of LTAX criteria when they are reviewing lodging tax applications beginning in the fiscal year 2026 lodging tax cycle. Of course, since this is the first time that a formalized criteria is being implemented, the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee does intend to reevaluate this criteria after fiscal year 2026 applications to see if any weights or criteria needs to be adjusted. So with that, I will conclude my presentation.
All right, return to the council. Any questions or motion? Councilmember Beaumont.
Thank you, Liam. I am really pleased to see this. I think it's very needed. I've talked to a lot of people over the years about LTAC funds, and I really, really appreciate that 6 other cities were reviewed when you were looking at their criteria, and particularly like the criteria, history of success, because I think that's really important that we don't just keep awarding money to organizations or events that maybe aren't pulling people in, maybe they're not that interesting. It's like, we've always done this, we're just gonna keep doing it. That is important. And also awards to organizations or events that offer something new, unique, or creative. We're constantly trying to up our game here, bring new people in, new activities, interesting things to do. And this is a step toward that, and I really, really support this. So I'm happy to make the motion. So I move to approve the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee's recommendation to establish a formalized criteria for reviewing lodging tax funding applications.
I have a motion from Councilmember Beaumont, a second from Councilmember Hanford for the requested action in 8.2 new business as shown on the screen. Any discussion on the motions? All right, Councilmember Walker, go ahead.
On LTAC this year, when we were looking at grants, there were a few questions that came up that may have been unique to the year or the round, or they may not have been, like questions about our organizations that have been awarded the funds in years past who have sort of grown in their events, making some of these funds just supplements. Should they be graded the same as an organization who these funds could be make or break for putting on a good event for that's in the spirit of the LTAC grant? There were questions around for-profits that might be applying. There were just a few unique situations where we kind of just started spitballing around, well, how could we adjust this? And Liam took the ball and ran with it. I want to thank the other members of the current LTAC commission because they were willing to meet more times during the year than I think is normal in order to go over this. And Liam just knocked everyone's socks off when he brought this back and said, I took kind of notes from our previous discussion about the spirit of what we were looking for, the changes we were looking for. He went and looked at all these cities, he put this together, and the whole LTAC board was just wowed. We made a few changes to help nonprofits get some more weight in their applications. Or maybe I put that wrongly, and we adjusted something from 1 to 5. But again, the members of that commission showed a lot of heart and involvement. And Mayor, I think you did a great job putting that kind of group together. I appreciate Mr. Hobbs, Ms. Goss, and
Michael Bruce.
what's that?
I'm sorry, who was the other one?
No,
Karan
not
Sidhu.
Karan
there you
Sidhu.
go.
Thank you.
Yep.
I knew I was going to butcher it. So thank you to all of them, and Liam, thank you, and Patrick as well. This is awesome.
Thank you. All right, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
I had to check to see if Kyle had his hand up. Sorry, Kyle, if you wanted to say anything, you're voted. All right, any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Next item on the agenda, council member reports. We'll start off with Kyle Online. Your new name is Kyle Online.
I'll take it. So garbage. That's pretty much my council member report, and we all talked about it. Councilmember Fulcher mentioned it, and I just really liked how our neighborhood came together. I talked to a lot of people that are just walking by, throwing trash into Pigpen, the dump truck. And it ended up just being kind of a cool thing because we figured out a solution to Republic's problem. And that's about all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Hanford.
Thank you, Mayor. I attended Music in the Park this last week, and on a fabulous night. It was beautiful out, and other than the garbage cans overflowing, it was a beautiful night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Fisher. I'm sorry, I've already called Councilmember Fisher. I'm just reading signs here. Thank you. Councilmember Walker.
Me and my son and my wife attended Science Day at Lake Ty this weekend, and that was really fun. It was neat. Thank you to Vince and Parks or Public Works, one of the two. He takes a lot of pride in his work, and it is really appreciated. Thank you to the Conservation District, I think, for putting it on. He put on his salmon tattoo today, so that was a cool event. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Beaumont.
I would like to start by saying thank you to staff, because I think I'm the only one up here that didn't say that when we were having our discussion about garbage. So I'm very proud of them and what they endured. I did see a lot of traffic lined up on Main, and unlike my fellow council member here, who was handing out donuts to try and make that experience better for people. And I do want to just give Jake a shout out. Like Kyle, these two amazing council members here that I serve with picked up garbage all week in his truck, black truck. You see him everywhere. Do you need your garbage picked up? Let me help, let me help. And then to go to Henry's Donuts and pick up donuts and be handing them out, boy, you heard a lot about that. So just a incredible effort to connect with our residents and make them feel better and put a smile on their face. Really proud to serve with you. And Kyle, thank you also. In terms of our city, I did attend Music in the Park with Councilmember Hanford and his lovely wife Julie, and what a great event. I mean, Janelle Drews is out there just getting the crowd going. The band was amazing. Lake Ty has been kind of a focus over the last week. I've paddleboarded the lake, kayaked the river, have run around the lake numerous times, and just, that is our jewel. There are so many people out there enjoying that park in so many different ways, from people sitting at the tables, breaking bread, to people running and chasing each other and laughing, and people learning how to kayak, and runners and walkers and dogs. And it is just beautiful. I love being down there, and thank you to the Parks group that keeps that looking so good. And just, we've got a great community. It's just very uplifting to be down there. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Councilmember Fulcher.
Thank you. Yeah, second to what all you guys said, I love Monroe. And this is just the time for us to shine, even in these difficult times, first world problems. So it's still, the Music in the Park, was awesome. I happened to be handing out hot dogs and stuff during that time, but I got to hear a lot of great music, and we were singing in the concession stand too. But Councilmember Walker and I, we also did Snohomish County Cities on last Thursday. That's Thursday? Yeah. And we got to hear from the Department of Emergency Management, and it was very informative. I was just, there is a electeds training that I would like us to look into, just so we are all prepared in the event of emergency. What is our response? What is our responsibility? And how can we stay out of the way and let people do their jobs? So if that's at all an issue, I'd like to look into that. They also talked a lot about ham radios, and we have a great ham radio group here in Monroe General. And I have family members who are part of that, so I think that's just a really good part of our community setup. And just again, the Monroe City, our people are an awesome group of people, especially the Blakely Madison group, our downtown people, the Flatlanders. So thanks again to Councilmember Fisher, et cetera.
Thank you. We'll come back to you, Councilmember Hanford. Councilmember Scarborough.
I want to make it clear I wanted to say one more thing that I think we missed when we were talking about the garbage, is that I don't want the people, the young men and women, if there are any, that are driving the trucks and picking up our garbage to take our frustration out on them, because that's not what we're doing. We're taking our frustration out on the organization that sends those guys out, people, out in their trucks to pick up our garbage. Other than that, I've said about as much as I need to say about what happened this week.
Thank you. Councilmember Gamble.
All right. Yeah, enough said on that stuff. But I did want to bring to attention, and so was it Sunday night, Monday morning, right around midnight, so Sunday, there was a bunch of fireworks, firecrackers up on the farm. And so I took the walk out, walked down below, and it does appear that we have, I called it in, Officer Larson came out. It does appear that we have a camp or an establishment that is building in the Greenbelt area next to the farm. So it is actually owned by the HOA. But I was extremely concerned because of the fire. I wouldn't even have known.
Yeah.
But it was about 5-10 minutes of it, and obviously the dogs went absolutely crazy, called it in. So, yeah. And then went down and did make contact with one individual that obviously was brilliant and made him aware of the services that are available. But I would like to see the plan on that. Like, have we made contact? There was supposed to be follow-up. Did we send the officer or the resource officer through there? Not resource officer.
We know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
BMH.
Officer Robinson's gonna be, what are you talking about? That's not my job.
So we'll have staff follow up with you.
Yeah, but I just wanna, make sure that we have moving on, because then after I heard, before I went down and walked down there, I walked over and looked over the hill with a flashlight and I could hear construction. And so it was at midnight. So we want to make sure that services are extended, but then we also need to get that removed because I don't want the hill and then the homes to burn.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Hanford, you had your flag up at one point.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to support the idea of the training Councilmember Fulcher mentioned.
We'll get some information on the training to the staff, to the council. Thank you. All right, thank you, everybody. Public Works Department, July 2025 report with Director Roberts. 10.1.
Good evening, council. Again, I feel I've spoken enough tonight. There's a report in your packet. If you have any questions, please let me know.
We don't have any questions except thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next item then is item 10.2. This is HRIT Department, July 2025 report with Ally Edwards. Oh. Ben and Ally. Ally, Ben. Ally, bye, Ben. No, I tried.
Good evening, council. I'll also try to keep this nice and short, but it's nice to see you all. So as always, the HR department is continually recruiting and onboarding. I am happy to say, however, that the only sitting open position we have currently is our police officer position. However, civil service and obviously the police department are always working on that. So happy to see our parks director get confirmed today. Moving forward, so summer's always a big audit season for us, both with our WCIA insurance pool and then also just some salary surveys that we do with, neighboring comparables and cities to make sure that our data is up to date, especially as we go into the new year. So we've completed our AWC salary survey, and then our audit with WCIA is next week. So this year we elected the Public Works audit, so it was great to work with Public Works staff on that to stay in compliance with our compact. And then, as you've probably seen over the last year, we've been really working on doing some policy review and updates. So we had quite a few roll in at the last quarter of last year. And then tonight, actually, we got the updates to our anti-harassment, anti-violence policy passed. So nothing huge currently, just making sure that those policies, especially ones that are intertwined with a lot of our work, are staying up to date in compliance. And then we have some work going on with our NeoGov implementation. So a few years ago now, we started in with those modules. We initially started with our recruiting and onboarding modules, and then we were happy to get 3 new modules, a part of the 2025-2026 budget. So that would be e-forms, perform, and policy. So we implemented e-forms in the first quarter, and we're just now kind of slowly starting to roll it out. But basically that makes it so that all of those forms, benefit forms, enrollment forms, is all online now. So nobody's gonna have to ask me and then me turn around and send it to them and it'd be a nightmare. And then we just recently wrapped up our implementation of Perform, and we're excited to slowly get that rolled out and hopefully be using that for the next year evaluations for all of our groups. And then we will be moving on to policy. And then lastly, what I have tonight is just an update on damage to city property. So we've always taken a proactive approach to recovering damage as much as we can. Thankfully, we have a great department, both with parks, public works, police, whoever's involved in whatever the incident may be, who gets as much information as we can. So between restitution efforts or just staff working with the individual's insurance company, we have been able to recover nearly $25,000. So whether that be between median damages, hydrant damages, all of those, which to my knowledge is pretty close to what we have at least gotten reported to the city as damage. So that's good to see, and we've really worked on keeping an updated Teams channel. We've had some supervisory switches, especially in those departments that work closely with risk management. So we really honed in this year to meet with them, get some SOPs down for anything involving property damage, claims, employee incidents, so what and so forth, to strengthen that communication. So that's it for me.
All right, thank you. Any questions on the HR part of the HR IT report? All right, thank you.
I did offer earlier for Ken to give the IT report, but he said, I don't think you want me speaking in public. And I said, so I'll take it. But I did offer it. As I sit up here, I just want to point out something. You have 50%, and I'm one of those, of your HR and IT staff at this meeting today. So as you look at this back and look at the things that accomplish, it's of 6 people. So one of the things Ally left out is we've hired 19 people already this year, and that's seasonals, that's full-time employees. Seasonals take as much time as for the HR people as it does for a full-time person. So that's a considerable amount of effort as we go through that. If you look at all the trouble tickets that IT gets open and closed, most of those come to Ken first, and he closes a lot of those. Those that he can't fix go to Hussein. Those that Hussein can't fix, they go to Jason, right? In addition to that group getting ready for the new City Hall project, they're hanging stuff up. They're not allowed to go on ladders where I could see their feet. And since I'm short, they can't go above step ladder. They have to get Jacob's group. We're not trained for that. So that's good. Jason's continuing to work with Liam on some AI policy and collaboration as that continues to evolve. He's also involved in our permit tracking solution, which is Llama out of Lance's group. And we're also working on the website update to continue with the new brand recognition. So that's what the group does. That's a lot of stuff for a small group, so.
Thank you. Any questions on the IT? Go ahead, Councilmember Beaumont.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you. I had a question about the website update. I don't feel like I've heard too much about that. So is that set to launch this year?
Yeah, so we've been meeting with our Civic Plus reps, myself, Katie Darrow, a couple of other individuals from departments, I believe it was about 2 months ago, we finally wrapped up our initial discussions with them on what we wanted that to look like, obviously implementing the brand and a few other things to make our website look a little more modernized. And we will have our first initial review of their proposal, I believe, the third week of August. However, implementation won't take place towards the end of October. So they have quite a big backlog. They did say if we don't have too many recommended updates to their initial proposal, we could be put on a list to be sooner than that. But yes, it will probably be in the fall.
So are we doing just cosmetic, working the new brand in, or are we doing substantive content?
This is primarily a cosmetic update, so we get one per our plan every 4 years, I believe. So this is primarily branding, and then we can move around a couple of modules. There's some things that we can change, some things we can't. So it will look like a pretty new update, but most of the modular use of it and the way the website works will be similar to what we're used to.
Very nice. Out with the purple.
Yes.
Thank you.
You know, this has been real hard tonight for those Husky folks. Out with the purple. Okay. I think those are fighting words for a Husky, right? Hey, Chief, we might need you in the parking lot just to de-escalate. All right, thank you both very much. All right, next one is Community Development Report, May, June 2025 with Lance Bailey. No purple jokes. Oh, good.
But I don't like the Huskies.
Oh.
Must be a Bears fan.
Oh, jeez.
I'm a Duck. And an Orioles fan, so I'm all over the place. May and June for community development. The highlight project this month or for this report is Wendy's. It actually is going to exist. I don't know how many times I've been asked and sat up here and said that, yeah, it's still moving forward. There's a nice little color picture in the report if you want to look at the building. I was by there the other day. The walls are starting to go up, so there you can see some progress. To tie in and highlight some of the work that HR has been doing, we've hired as of June 16th a new plans examiner who has started, and her name is Xiao, and she is a registered architect, experienced architect. So it's some interesting skills to add to our staff, and she is doing very well. 3 weeks ago, we had this is the update on the llama, the permit tracking system. We had the team from Davenport, which is the name of the company that is doing that work here in town, working with staff for 3 full days. And we had Public Works and finance and planning and building. It was quite a 3 days, but we made a lot of progress. And so we are shooting for at least a soft launch by the end of the year, and I'll keep council updated on that. Just real quick on code enforcement, I don't often mention code enforcement. It's that season where we have high grass and weeds, and I know that there's been some comments about a couple of properties. Hopefully you've seen that they've been taken care of. One of them in particular was the corner of Kelsey and Blueberry. So it's that season, and thankfully, when we reach out to property owners, they're usually good about taking care of that. So with that, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, Councilmember Walker?
Saw a software recently that'll flag words in different public meetings. It's like an AI that'll just pick it out. So I just want to address the chicken or the elephant in the room. Chick-fil-A bought the Red Robin building, is demoing it, and they got a permit for that at least?
They don't have a permit, guy. Don't tell me they tore that building down.
Hey, I worked there, man.
Nothing would surprise me.
Sunday.
They did purchase the property, but to this point, all they've done is complete a pre-application meeting with the city. So they haven't submitted any permits for any grading or demo, but they did buy it.
All right, so you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying what I said.
Any other
Chick-fil-A hater.
Any other questions? All right, thank you very much, Lance. We now have Patrick Doherty or Deborah. Okay, Patrick, you're online. We'll bring you forward. 10.4, Economic Development Report Q1, Q2, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. Somehow we kind of got me off the calendar, and so you see that I've got 2 quarters to cover, but it is in the report, and I'll just provide some highlights now because I know it's getting late. But I wanted to just give, again, the highlights of what we've been doing over the last 6 months, basically, in economic development. As you know, the festival lot process has taken front and center on some of the work that's been done over the last few months. And as you'll hear soon meaning in the next couple of months, you'll get the results from our public engagement process and then the comments from the boards and commissions. I have had ongoing, really weekly contact and correspondence with Lowe's representatives regarding our Attorney Place properties, and an update even from the report in the agenda bill. I got a message on Monday from our contact that quote unquote leadership was flying out to Washington this week and they were going to visit the site in person. I did, of course, offer that we would meet them, but that was not taken up. Economic Development Annual Report. The Downtown Merchants Group has been going a year now. It's been great. Liam McCorkle and I have been attending those, as well as Macy Haverly from police. A few things that came out of that this last few months were a downtown flower crawl, the Main Street Adoptive Planter Program. We're up to 23 planters adopted, which is great. There's consideration of other events, activities, and promotions. We've started a Facebook group for the downtown merchants to be able to interact with each other and share ideas. There have been some speakers. And really, as of June, the group has sort of shifted more to be on its own, which is what we wanted all along, and not so much a city-driven entity. Obviously, I do the monthly business newsletters. I hope you see those. I work with Katie Darrow on content for the Monroe Magazine, Sky and Snow, Cascade Loop, social media postings that you see every week. We had 2 first ever meetings of different business groups. The industrial construction businesses met for the first time in a meet and greet on the 15th of May, and the North Kelsey business group met in April, and they're looking forward to trying to maybe do that a couple times a year. We've been working on the Visitor Information Center contract, as you know, to occupy part of the Union Bank, former Union Bank building. And our tourism promotion program that I talked to you about last year happened over the winter, and we did several months of that. It concluded at the end of February. And I think probably that's enough. You got more detail in the reports, but those are highlights. Obviously, I get out every week when I'm in town and meet and greet with businesses, and that's really fun. And the last thing I'll tell you is that people are really reporting that they feel good about the economy. They feel good about Monroe. Their business is doing well for the most part. I know there've been a little anxiety about some tariffs on some of the businesses. And I have to say that some of the lodging establishments are feeling a little bit of pinch in a loss of Canadian visitors. But overall, things look pretty good in town. And I'm happy to meet with the folks that I meet with, and also lots of inquiries coming to me. So I'll turn it over to the mayor and see if there's any questions I can address.
Thank you. Councilmember Scarborough.
May 22, 2025, school district facility planning. Can you elaborate on that any?
Yeah, yes, our superintendent of schools came in May to just share with EDAB the status of their facilities planning, and they've got a lot of parts in play. I can't possibly summarize everything for you, but that placeholder there I didn't run through a read of all the EDAB meetings, but in that particular meeting, that's what the main subject of the meeting was. And we can get you a copy of their presentation if you'd like from that meeting.
Will there be an update from you on it that I don't have to give you to make you give me a copy of that meeting?
Well, no, I wouldn't. I don't think I would do justice to the many different parts that are in their facilities planning. It's quite comprehensive. And so I think that if you would like to know more about that, I'd be very happy to ask them to send us I think we may actually have it because it was part of the agenda. Send you that if you'd like.
Okay, we'll do that then. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Councilmember Fisher, go ahead.
Yeah, Councilman Scarborough, I was on that committee, so if you have any questions, you can just give me a holler.
Can I drive the dump truck?
I couldn't hear it as
He wants to know if he can drive Miss Piggy Pen. Pig Pen.
that doesn't have anything to do with facilities in the school district, I don't think. Just saying.
I think he really wants to drive Pig Pen. All right.
Okay,
thank you
you
very
can
much.
drive Pigpen.
Okay. Councilmember Beaumont, go ahead.
I would also like a report on the facilities for the district, or to see it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Patrick. We're going to go ahead and move on to 10.5 Finance Department June 2025 report with Julie Elsom. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So nothing has really changed since last month. Revenues are still coming in as planned and expenses are still under budget. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Any questions? Keep it simple. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Keep the green line above the red line. Okay. It's easy budgeting. Okay. Next one is Mayor and Administrative Reports, 11.1 City Administrator Report Extended Agenda. Administrator Knight.
Thank you, Mayor. It gives me great pleasure to say looking forward to September 9th as being our next council meeting. Enjoy the extended break that we'll have during council recess in August. We have a couple of items obviously already scheduled coming back to you in September. We'll have approval of meeting minutes. We will also have a couple of new business items. Oh, I'm sorry, this is a Public Safety Committee meeting. My apologies, at 6 p.m. So the new business items under the Public Safety Committee meeting include the Washington Sheriff's and Police Chief's Crime Report with Chief Jolly, the Fireworks Response Summary with Chief Jolly, and then the Model Fairfax Crisis Clinic. This is the 23-hour and 59-minute crisis clinic for mental health that Fairfax is proposing here at Evergreen Health Monroe. And then the police building updates with Jolly and the opioid settlement funds with Rachel Adams. So a report on opioid settlement funds. For the council business meeting, we have a public, back one, thank you. For the council business meeting on the 9th, we have a public hearing on the Comp Plan 2026 docket. We have a few consent agenda items already scheduled. Again, accounts payable and meeting minutes and payroll. We have an unfinished business item for the Parks Code ordinance coming back to council after your discussion at your last meeting in July. And then a resolution coming forward for leak adjustment policy with Liam McCorkle. Next slide for the 16th, thank you. For the Council Finance and HR Committee meeting, we will have new business items for the Audit Entrance Conference with Julie Elsom, the 2024 Audit Update, IT Policy Update, the Mid-Year Evaluations, 2024 Annual Report Review, and then the review of compensation structure coming back to the Finance Committee. For the regular business meeting, we have scheduled an update on the city's needs assessment report with Caitlin Harrigan, and then just the regular items that we see. We've got a discussion item for the festival lot that Patrick Doherty mentioned earlier this evening.
All right. Any questions on the extended agenda? All right, City Administrator report.
All right, as I mentioned, the council will be having a recess in August, so there will be no meetings, and we will be resuming business on September 9th. Just a reminder for council, although it's hard to forget because we have the best national night out in the region ever. So that is Tuesday, August 5th at 5:30 p.m. at Lake Ty Park. And a correctional complex tour, which is scheduled for Tuesday, August 12th at 6 p.m. More information will be coming about where to meet. As a part of that tour, if you are planning to attend, the correctional complex is asking for council member full names and birth dates. And so we will be providing the correctional facility with that information. If you have any questions or concerns, you can contact me in the next couple of days before we provide that information. The kudos, I just wanted to note that on social media, our Parks Department got a shout out for the landscape medians. Multiple people commented just how great they look and how much they appreciate our Parks Department and all the work that they do, keeping those medians looking fantastic regardless of the time of year. So shout out for our Parks crew.
All right, any questions? Go ahead, Jason.
One question. I'm assuming it's not on the agenda, but I'm assuming the plan is the next meeting that we would like it to be able to see all.
The mayor is very optimistic, yes, but we'll see what Jacob throws at me at the end of the meeting. So we'll let you know as soon as we know when our first meeting is gonna be, but I very much would like to have our first meeting
It doesn't have either.
in September.
Listed, that's why I
Yeah.
asked the question.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
See Deborah's
I'm nodding
response.
in the positive. We are working
Yes, we're
on
working
it
on it.
indeed.
I think I'm more optimistic right now. So.
We'll see you there.
All right, any other questions on the city administrator report? Okay, mayor's report. So we now have 2 Parks Board vacancies, and so we are working on getting applications for Parks Board. I received an application just before I went on vacation. I'll be interviewing that person mid-August, and then anybody else that submits applications in the next 2 weeks. So we do have a couple openings on the Parks Board right now. And then as for me, I mean, I did other things last week, but the thing that comes to mind is just the garbage stuff. I think that, not to try to revisit this more than I need to, but I do want to share what Councilmember Scarborough said, which is that my issue is not with labor. My issue here is Republic. Republic should have been negotiating the whole time. If that had occurred, then we wouldn't have had this subsequent strike. There's a term for it. I don't know what the term is, but to show solidarity with the unit that they were not negotiating with. And I think that that's one thing that really bothers me, is that you need to be negotiating with labor because they're the ones that make you successful. If you're going to walk away from the table, that's a bright line for me. That really bothers me. Obviously, it did the union group that serves our area. So I just want to acknowledge what Councilmember Scarborough said. It's something that I had thought about as well. And then again, thank you so much to Jacob and your team, and Chief and your team, and thank you, Deborah, for all the work you've been doing over the last couple of weeks around the garbage issues and everything else. That's all that I have. We do have a need for executive session tonight, potential litigation. Just as I said before, we're going to start this with a 10-minute clock. We'll announce extensions if we need to. There will be action to follow, if nothing else, to adjourn the meeting. Time right now is 9, which means we'll give an update at 9:10, or we'll be back here in chambers. So we are now in executive session for RCW 42.30.110, subsection 1, subsection I, potential litigation.
Executive session has been extended 5 minutes.
Okay, we are now out of executive session, there being no further business. And if there is no objection, we will be adjourned. Seeing no objection, we are adjourned. Have a great week, everybody. See you in September. We're adjourned.